and welcome to the channel. My name is Karsha Goblin. This is the Goblin Cave. We're in for another installment of Prince of the Apocalypse. Hopefully we're going further than half an hour, which we only got last week. But we're missing a couple of people. We're missing Peach and we're missing Javo for various circumstances. We do have, though, a few of our cast members still here. We have Sky Blue Shinx.
Hey,
Would you like to do your introduction and speak?
Hi, I'm Marco, or Sky Blue Shinx, and I play Kip the Kobold Fighter.
Fantastic.
Ready to prove myself that I'm not a baby coward in a disguise. We'll see.
Yeah, it's not liking the disguise. We've also got Will.
Hello,
Yes,
hello.
that's you.
Yes, that is right. My name is Will, and I play Kadan, the human grave cleric. My job is just to keep everyone not dead, and it's been working so far.
Yes, and the job entails only healing people when they're dead, I think. Was
Yeah, I
that
get
the...
maximum value.
Yeah. that was the common complaint, I believe. I've got a few complaints as the HR department. And lastly, we've got Kamali.
Hi, I'm Kamali. I play Robot the Beard. And if this is indeed a cult, they should be idolizing me.
Oh, okay. Or idolizing you or the beard. Which one?
The beard.
Yeah, it's not you. It's always the beard. Yep. I thought so. So we had a few actually some major technical issues last week. We're now running off OBS system just to make sure everything's smoothish. We've had some problems with that. But a shout out again to Syrinscape for the audio and for the sound and the intros, outros that we're using. So if you're running things online or offline, Syrinscape is what you want for your audio and your background. Absolutely amazing product. Can't thank it enough. No, it's not promotional. They don't pay me. I just like it. If you're listening, and I know you are, Syrinscape, you can sponsor this channel, and I will do even bigger promotional. Maybe? I don't know. We'll see.
You tattooed across your forehead the logo.
Syrinscape.
Yeah. Or how to use Syrinscape for your videos. I don't mind. So last week, before all the issues, and also and between all the issues, our cast members had a bit of a guess that they're in a cult. Well, they're not in a cult, but they're visiting the location of a cult. Nothing's confirmed yet. Currently, we have Kip, our kobold fighter, dressed up as a baby dragon, or dragonborn that is, to try to get in here because they didn't know if he'd be accepted as a kobold, because they're not as commonly seen.
Highly regarded.
Yeah, highly regarded. That's probably a better way of putting it. He's currently with Ward in the captain's office, or captain's quarters, and the Windward's quarters, who just happened to be a bard that he met recently in town. The others at the top of the tower, they were about to take a tour of the facilities. And because we pretty much spent the entire time last week, which was 30 minutes, with Sky and Kip, we'll do a little bit more with the others before joining the party back up, and of course dumping So, because unfortunately So's also not here today. But unfortunately that's just how things are. We can't do much about that. So as you go, you're led through the tower, and I'm just going to do some drag and dropping. Just makes it quicker to move everyone as a level.
Yeah, you should shift the banner too.
I'm shifting what? Oh, I'm shifting your views as well. Yes, always miss that one.
I still am on the... Oh, there we go.
Yep. So it's one move and a second move. There we go. There we go.
Fantastic. But these are big birds.
Yes,
Wow,
they're very big birds.
One still black.
Let's scroll up.
Yep.
Oh, there we go.
It's a long way up. Several hundred feet up, to be precise. Well, that's to the canyon floor.
Lots of floors.
Well, it's to the canyon. You don't know if this goes all the way down to the canyon layer itself. There we go. There's our wind. This ever-present wind swirling around the pinnacle of the Feathergale Spire. So as it's loaded, we're going to be going down some stairs. So as you're going down the stairs, I'll put Savara doing your tour with you. As we're going down the stairs, you meet Meredith going up the stairs to the pinnacle. Meredith, I think only So was familiar with in the tavern.
I don't remember who else met. I think they basically just caught a glance, and then I sort of went off after just have a chat.
Yeah, I don't think many people actually met them.
No.
I did the face last time when she was revealed, but I didn't know who she was. Oh my god, a twist. I want to fit in.
And so, I don't believe anyone really met Meredith, but you see a lady, elven lady, walking up the stairs. Not really dressed in finery, but getting there. So we'll go down another level, and we'll actually open the doors. I believe they're open before. There we go. So open the doors from the central pillar of the spire, where you come to a large feasting room where there's animal heads and carcasses along the walls as how can I put it? As trophies. Probably the best way of putting it. They are a mix of different animals, not rats or dogs or anything like that, but actually quite good trophies like lions and boars, and a real hunting place. Quality, you should say. And behind it, you can see around here that there's it looks like doors, and you explain that this is the feasting room, this is the dining room, and the trophy room.
This isn't a cult, this is a gentleman's club.
There's two great big hearths here and here. It does have that feel of a gentleman's club. And you explains that the knights live on this level, and their quarters are behind you. So I can just move you to there so you can actually see. On the other side, that's where their quarters are.
Okay.
So then we go down another level, and this is the level where you came in. You explained that above you here is the kitchens. And let's go to the dynamic lighting layer again. I should open up a few of these doors.
I can see so much more.
You can see so much what?
I can see so much more. I can see like a little pinwheel.
It's only a thin sliver of...
I know. It's okay, so that you can see a little bit more. So in here are the kitchens. There are four look like the initiates. They're not the ones in full armor, and they are standing over a barrel. And it seems to be not a barrel, but a cauldron that's steaming, and they're standing over it, inhaling the steam, and they don't pay you any mind. But there looks to be food preparation areas and ovens and things like that in the area, and again a great big hearth for the cooking in the corner.
Can I try to sniff a little bit?
Well, you can do a perception, because unless you want to go to it and try to make yourself room around the cauldron.
I'm gonna just kind of inch my way a little bit closer, but not too close. I just wanna. Is there anything that can sniff that stands out to me?
Ooh. With your... I'll give you actually a bonus with your herbalism, because I should have just asked you to do a herbalism roll.
I do not have herbalism.
Well, I'll give you the same thing, yeah.
Okay.
Because it's essentially the same thing. So you can do it again as your advantage, essentially, on this roll.
Oh yeah, roll me.
It's about the same.
Fantastic.
It's about the same, but your +6 on those rolls are still amazing. So you get the idea that it's more aromatic herbs than anything alchemical coming from the cauldron. And Savra actually just explains that this is where the initiates learn to rely on the air instead of material and the physical world.
We're just huffing gases.
Essentially that.
Just in the corner of paper bags having paint.
It's essentially that. They're inhaling.
Just I'm flying.
Yes. Yeah. He explains that they inhale and become one with the steam, and become the steam.
If this place is a cult, I'm not particularly scared.
I just look at Sabra and just like, interesting.
Yeah.
And just
So we'll move to the side. We'll move to the side, and here is a large bright room that occupies the eastern quarter of the floor. Flowers and shrubs of many varieties grow in the labyrinth of planters. Spidery red and purple plants grow suspended in baskets in mid-air. Robed humans water the plants. So it's a large, essentially, garden. A floating garden of pot plants and whatnot. It's very bright. The windows open up and catch the sun very well. And a few of initiates are running around tending to the plants and trimming and caring for them.
What kind of plants are these?
They're a mix of they look like herbs and food-based plants as well. So it's more for the food preparation and being more sustainable.
Okay.
Than being pretty flowers or things like that. You do need to eat, and it's hard to hunt all the time. So yeah. So from there, we're going to move across again. Oops, that's added an extra person there. I didn't want that. We go to the middle, and then we go to the south. And you see inside the room, there seems to be bunk beds. And with the bunk beds, there's 4 bunk beds, so cater for 8 people. And you can see some initiates packing up their belongings and carrying their stuff out of the room. And Savra says that you'll be sleeping here tonight. The initiates will sleep on the floor in the banquet room.
Oh, they don't need to move. It's fine. They can stay here.
As you say that, one of the initiates looks up hopefully, and Savra just scowls at him and sends him on his way. He says, no, they need to learn. You're guests here. You're guests of honor. You'll have proper bedding.
Guests of honor? Well, if you insist, we'll be guests of honor. That's fine. Sabra, is that the rest of is this tour all inclusive? Is there any spots that you haven't shown us, or?
Well, I'm not going to show you the armory.
Of course.
Or the private quarters of the knights. But there is one last place, and he takes you down one last level to the stables. Where's my little ready thingy? S1. Of course, it's never in order, of course, never. So the circular landing surrounds the central shaft of the spiral staircase. The landing is piled with supplies, bales of straw radiating from the landing are 12 stalls with straw-covered floors that harness, riding crop and saddle hanging on each stall. swinging wooden doors cap either end of the store, one leading from the tower to the store, the other leading from the store to the open air. And in this room there are 4 hippogriffs and 2 giant vultures. So I'll open the layers here so you can see them if you can. Oh, there's so many of these. Don't do that. And yeah,
the dynamic lighting really is blinding.
I
like
know.
A lot of...
I know. It's one of those maps where you do need dynamic lighting to stop some of the vision, but it's really restrictive. There you go. So the doors are now open, so you can see at least some of it. And for you up in your room, it's just all you can see is your room.
Yeah. I not even seeing that.
Yeah.
While you're all doing this is Kip.
Yep.
I'm gonna ask Savras, do you raise your birds from young?
Oh no. They take way too many years to mature, and the eggs are very, very costly. So we tend to try to buy fully grown, trained, or even if they're not trained, we do have some experience training, but it's not an easy job.
I walk over here.
Yeah.
I just want to look inside the cell and just see what I see inside.
Okay. So the hippogriff inside the cell, or inside the stall essentially, starts as being aggressive to you, and it's like it doesn't snarl, but it squawks viciously, and flaps its wings, and its front claws are scraping on the actual scraping the hay from the stall in an aggressive manner.
Just back up really quickly.
Yeah. So
Nope.
the knight that is in the room as well just explains that unless you're introduced to the animals, they are wary of strangers. They're trained not to be ridden by anyone but us. So, but if we introduce you, they'll understand that you're being let to ride them or to be near them. It's best not to go near them unless that happens.
Well then, please do introduce me to them.
I'd still like to be introduced. I've
Yeah.
never seen these creatures before.
Yeah. So the giant vultures are very scary creatures. Vultures themselves are hugely ugly anyway, and to have such a massive version of them, you think if they actually spread their wings that it wouldn't even reach from side to side in these little stalls. The hippogriffs themselves being part eagle, part and part horse, kind of an amalgamation, which they seem to be a lot tougher and a lot stronger. But there's something a lot tougher than those out there in flying creatures, and that's a griffin. The griffin being part eagle, part lion, much more ferocious. But he'll introduce you to one of each and just explain why we have the two different styles of mounts, and that they filled 2 different roles. One's more scouting, one's more combat orientated in the roles, and explains that we do a lot more training on the hippogriffs than we do on the vultures, because the vultures are a lot more testy and they don't like being attacked. Well, they're a bit more fragile, I should say, and they will
Did you say
tend
that vultures are more testy or tasty?
testy.
Testy. Oh,
Testy.
They are giant birds, so I wasn't sure.
They don't. They don't. They've got a very how can I put it? They don't suffer fools, and if their rider asks them to do something they do not want to do, they will throw that rider. And being thrown off a flying mount is a long fall, generally speaking. And he points over to one of the harnesses, and like he actually points that the legs actually have wraps along them, so you actually have to strap yourself physically in case they want to try to throw you. But if the animal goes down, you're going down with them. So he points out that there's like a knife in that same section where he cut those leather strappings, so he can bail.
Makes sense.
Yes.
Yes. How much does each one of these creatures put you back? How can this society afford such creatures?
Well, Savra takes the question. It explains that, well, each one of us comes from a family line. Generally speaking, you need some good background and backing to become a member of the Feathergale, and but in doing so, you need to you help the society by increasing their funds to buy and purchase some of these animals.
We live in a society.
Generally speaking, just an egg from a hippogriff is about 2,000 gold. Oof. Just for the egg, and then you've got to raise the animal, you've got to train it, you've got to domesticate it. But the full-grown animal, you're looking 10,000 plus for untrained.
Jesus.
Untrained.
Untrained.
So domestication raises the price? Double? Triple?
Well, double. Yeah. It takes time, and it's a very specialist skill. We can do it. It's just it takes a lot of time, and many years, and a lot of pain and scratches and attacking. And he looks sheepish at that. They're quite ferocious animals, especially those vultures. And he looks at one of the stores specifically.
Which one?
He looks at the stall to the north.
Okay.
Yeah. And he explains that, yeah. But that's the full tower of all the levels. There's no levels down further. It doesn't go into the bedrock. It sits above onto the bedrock itself. So now we skip back to the top of the tower, and I'm not going to roleplay an NPC with another NPC because that's just farcical. And no one's there to witness it, so why even bother? But what we do have is Meredith comes down and explains that explains to Kip that I've spoken to Thrall. He will allow you to. He understands. He took a bit of negotiating, and I don't really understand my position here because it's not military, but he seemed to actually. He seemed to actually take my word as a command. So
Interesting.
I'm not quite sure why or what's going on with that.
I mean, as a performer, it's easy to work your way into the hearts of your audience.
Yes.
It's not something I'm terribly unfamiliar with. And Peach is just about to join us.
Oh,
just got a message.
Yay!
On Discord.
Okay, that'll make things fun. That'll be great.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm just saying, like, yeah. It's. I felt like you could have music can have a way with words with some people. It can move people, and I think that of anything would be, some good way of persuasion, some method of persuasion. But thank you so much. It means a lot. where might I speak with the commander, just to offer him an apology myself for dishonesty.
I think just attend to the feast and keep low, and if you prove yourself in the feast, then he'll be more accepting. Just keep a low profile.
Where are my other comrades, the other members of the Solid Daggers? I'll meet up with them.
Sava mentioned doing a tour, and she'll take you and try to catch up. She knows the public areas of the spire.
Okay.
So I'm just going to drag you. There's your banquet hall. So I've got to move you. There's your ground level.
I look at all the trophies, and I'm just like, wow.
Yeah.
Impressive.
Yeah. But they're impressive on a normal banquet hall. But if you consider the fact that some of them are a lot rarer than others, like probably not in this area, they'd be a bit more impressive. So you've got your kitchen in here.
Sort of like everyone I kind of who sort of glances at me, I just kind of like I give a polite bow and I just an awkward wave, and then I just sort of.
And you got your gardens, which it's a weird having gardens like that, especially coming from an underground style of living, as a kobold may be used to, having gardens and in pot plants and instead of just fungi, and it'd be more weird if you were a druid though.
I suppose I will have seen sort of similar things around Waterdeep, though.
Yep.
I imagine.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then
it's not entirely brand new to me.
Yeah. Then your bedding, and everyone's down here.
Hey guys.
There we
Jig
go.
is up.
Oh, you're alive.
Yes, I'm alive, and I've shed that awful disguise.
You're
Oh,
not,
that's a pity. It suited you.
you're not dressed. When he comes down undressed, and sort of like, look, he's grown. Fantastic.
Oh my god, he was a kobold all along.
Done. It's fine. Meredith here. Spoke with the commander. I can be myself. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine.
And we're going to take a very, very quick break so we can get another player in. Apparently power outages were a thing. So there's a lot of storms going on in the US. I know that. I'm not from the US. We're having the drought side of things. It's one or the other.
It's a drought here in California. It's just
Yep. So we'll take a quick break. Enjoy the music from the tavern music from Syrinscape, because I really love just playing tavern music. And let's do the gurgles and gas. So once again, all these are from Syrinscape. You can do monthly subscriptions, or you can buy each one individually and use that at will. And so we'll be right back, hopefully with Peach. And we are back live. I will take off the tavern music. So, Peach is here. Do you want to do your introduction? Seeing a little bit late, but you are here.
Hi, I'm Peach. I remember my name, or Mars, and power companies are a bitch, and I play So the Tiefling Human. Yeah, Tiefling Human Rogue. That's what she is. That's her story. She's sticking to it.
I think that's the first time you've ever said that you're a tiefling.
Just not true.
Yeah.
When will these lies end? Am I right?
Yeah. I've never heard you admit you're a tiefling. That was even in character creation as well. So you've just had a tour of the spire. You should be in game, yes, and you've been on the map. Just had a tour of the spire, and Kip comes down to the bottom of the spire, which is where all the animals are kept, and with him is Meredith, the bard.
AKA
And,
his love interest.
and Meredith explains that I've spoken to the commander, and he's okay. He understands. He's a bit wary, but he understands the concern and the apprehension. You don't need to.
I just want the opportunity to alleviate those concerns. That's all. You know.
Yep.
I'm gonna be on my best behavior. You know, I'm not like most of my race. I recognize where the worry comes from. Trust me. You know, I grew up with fucking kobolds. I am one, so I understand. But I'm just hoping I can prove you wrong. Prove everyone wrong.
She does say, so you don't want to fly?
When was that ever a thing that I said? That you don't put words in my mouth.
Oh, you just said you're not a kobold. You're not like every one of the kobolds. I thought every kobold wants to fly. If you don't want to fly,
No, of course I want to. Who doesn't want to fly? I mean, okay, maybe some people don't want to fly. I don't know. I don't know everyone, but I mean, dragons can fly, so that, you know, it'd certainly be a privilege to have that opportunity.
she does.
But can you do that? I thought, can you make that happen? Can you work with these people?
Well, I don't know, but if you're nice, I'm sure something could be arranged.
Well, I suppose we should wait for dinner then.
Yes.
To be on my best behavior.
Speaking of best behavior, I spent a lot of money on that makeup, and you just sort of. That was a lot of money. That was a lot of my own person. I'm a little upset.
I'll pay you back. It's fine, honestly.
There's 100 gold.
Are we still at the
Bullshit.
stables?
Bullshit. Yeah, right.
Of note, Ward is not here. So after that,
It's frozen again.
Meredith does say, now behave yourselves. Get yourself settled in. I'm sure Savra has shown you where you can freely roam. This is probably not one of those places, but I'll see you later at dinner. And
Thank you very much.
I've got a big Goliath to keep occupied, apparently.
Oh yeah. Do you want to hand it back to us or?
No, I'm sure he seemed just wanting to go to bed.
Okay.
And he was looking at the rug, and I think he started talking as we left to the rug.
Oh yeah, he does that. He does
yeah.
that. He does
Yeah.
that. His voice is in his head, but it's mostly benign. Mostly,
Yes.
I
Paid
think.
no mind.
But it was a lion rug, so I'm going to go upstairs and keep an eye on that one.
Okay. Thank you.
So you do recall that on the floor of the captain's or the commander's side of the room, there was a large lion skin rug, similar to Fido.
That boy always talking to furniture. All right, let's go to our room.
Listen, so honestly, I really am sorry about the makeup, but it won't happen again, so it's fine.
You don't know. You could probably need to be disguised as a lizard folk or as a tiefling. I can make that work.
Okay, just not an infant next time. Something.
I'm sorry. There's not a lot I can do with 2 feet. I can't
Yeah,
make up
I
use
know.
the fight.
I know. It's fine. I get it, but it's.
Well, I guess I
If
make
I can
swords.
avoid it, I'd much rather.
I mean, do you know how to walk in stilts? When I was living with the giants, I had to learn how to walk in stilts to blend in. Never saw a thing. I'll show you sometime.
I'm not stilts, but I'm good with balancing.
I'll teach you stilts. It'll
You're
be fun.
not balancing on my shoulders.
No, why would I want to balance on your shoulders?
Oh, you're
Do you
next
actually
to
feel
Seth.
how it is to be tall?
Should you be talking?
Yes,
Please,
I'm very tall for a dwarf.
For a dwarf.
For a door.
Not.
I've seen some dwarves before. Like at the quarry, there were dwarves. No, there wasn't dwarves there. I've seen dwarves there though before, and some of them have been almost my height. So I don't
Kobold.
think you have an excuse.
It's not the size, it's how you use it.
I'm not going to dignify that with an answer.
Well, I think we should be getting to our room now.
Yep.
Everyone. Let's go to our
Yeah,
room. And
sounds like a plan.
let's go.
So I'll drag and drop you to the room. Just makes it easier. And
Thanks.
Savra leaves you to your own devices. The room by now is now cleared. There's 8 beds. There are 4 bunk beds, and a chest. Well, the chests are now emptied, and you can stow your belongings if needed.
Right, whose beds are these?
They're the
These are
initiates.
the initiates.
Yep.
They came out for us.
Really?
The room- yes.
Oh god.
Yes, we ousted some of the lower ranks. As befitting guests of honor.
Can't imagine Waterdavian toffs will be pleased with being kicked out of their bed for a kobold.
I don't think
That's
they know
amazing.
you're a kobold. Do they?
Well,
They will now.
the irony.
They do now.
The irony is delicious. Trust me.
I go up to So. I put my hands on So's shoulders and I say, So,
So
do
what?
not steal those 1,000 gold eggs downstairs, okay? Do not
Okay.
take the birds that are worth 10,000 gold. All right?
20,000 because they're trained.
20,000
Well, you
gold.
see,
Do not-
is it considered taking or stealing if a bird likes you?
I'm very likable.
I'm more likable.
There's
I
like
want
3
to-
different hymns.
I want to hear bird.
If possible, I'd like to get into these guys' good graces, because I imagine wouldn't be hard for them to track us down, seeing as they have aerial superiority.
That's
Well,
true.
See, your
So-
approaches are with the animals, but if I can talk to the right person, I can get us our own little egg.
Yeah, no, by all means, get
That's
them.
an idea.
Yes, that I'm all for that, but don't go stealing.
Let's
I'll
not make
talk with
enemies of them
Fine.
just yet.
Yeah, that was good. That will end badly. How big are those eggs anyway? They're bigger than me,
Yeah.
for God's sake. You don't get. What were you gonna do? Hide them under your shirt?
Ward chest. Ward has a chest.
What has it? It break.
Yeah.
I'm not tactless. I can do. I've been stealing longer than you've been on the surface. So give me a break here.
Wow.
I look at everyone.
I mean,
look
I'm
at
only
So.
10. I mean, I'm only 10, so you're probably right.
You're 10.
Yeah.
Oh my God, he's a child.
No, kobolds reach maturity at 3.
He's a baby. He's a baby.
Kobolds are adults at 3.
All right, if you're an adult and I carried your butt up the stairs, you're gonna have to carry me someplace sometime soon, which I will choose.
Best of luck.
I'm gonna get that carry. I'm gonna get that piggyback ride.
Not saying you're heavy, but I'm small. So that's going to end up very badly. Unless there's... Oh, no, that might be a fun idea.
I don't trust the idea, but I'm gonna go steal an egg now.
That's gonna be a surprise. I'm not gonna tell you what I'm thinking right now.
I'm gonna go steal an egg.
But both Kadan and Robold understand that if Ward was here listening to this conversation, he'd be demanding the same thing.
So goes, they'd be like, no, so don't come back.
Don't worry, there aren't any eggs.
I'm gonna go steal an egg.
Let her go steal an egg.
Yeah.
And by that, I mean I'm gonna go talk to the dude in charge.
Yeah. So, there weren't actually any eggs down there. They just explained that an egg will cost X amount.
They don't buy eggs. They don't buy eggs. Yeah.
Yeah.
They just buy the griffins.
Yeah. Or vultures. Yeah.
Yeah, or vultures. They don't bother raising them from birth, so it doesn't matter anyway.
Do they just have male birds in the stables?
It's less the fact that you don't know.
Oh, okay.
You don't really know the physiology of like the birds. If you were a druid, I'd give you a roll. Or maybe a ranger, but you don't really know. It's not your thing.
Okay.
With my background and some of the lessons I would have to have been taught, could I akin this to like a horseback riding?
You know with your background that the griffin riders and the aerial mounts from where you're from, and there is a special unit of aerial riders, and you know that it is an elite of an elite, and it's pretty much really dangerous. It's nothing like, well, it's harder. It's going to be harder.
I'm going to get a bird. We're getting a bird before we leave this place. I swear to God. I'm going to roll
start a fight. You're getting a bird for me. Yeah? I'm your favorite dwarf. And you and I can fly anywhere we want.
I've had the most experience flying here. I mean, I flew in with a Pegasus, so.
Excuse you, I can fly.
I
can physically fly 10 feet.
That is 10 feet. That is true.
You can fall with style.
It was more of a very big jump.
It's like a leap.
Well, you're not wrong.
Anyway, I'm gonna steal a bird and get money. Gonna steal a bird from these people.
So you have pretty much the afternoon to yourselves. You're kept pretty much out of the kitchens, but if you request food, it's provided to you. You can peruse the gardens and the banquet area and the roof spire area. I'm going
to go to the very pinnacle and I'm going to look around the area, look around the region, and map make.
Ah, yes.
With my cartographer's kit proficiency.
Fantastic. Nice. I was going to say the initiates are very subservient to everybody. They won't really respond at all. The knights themselves, and you see the difference between the two. The knights are very militant, but they seem to be under instructions to work with you, or at least to take your requests as a guest. Although they don't, you get the impression, especially So and Robold from various backgrounds, that the knights are very much militant and they're not going to be pushed. They won't take... As soon as So tries to do her wordplay and her conniving, they will actually shut her down and say, stop.
I was looking for the head honcho, dude.
Yeah. But
I will also say, if you're going to be prodding and poking around, ask about the arrows. Ask about that battlefield, because that is why we're here in the first place.
I got it.
I think that was already mentioned and already asked.
Was it?
Yes. A few weeks ago when we started this. I do apologize. We've had a lot of a lot of misadventures, streaming wise. But no, it was asked about. What was said was that 2 scouts came across a group chasing another group, or chasing the dwarf and the whatnot. That they lost. They tried to intervene. They lost 1 member. In the intervention. So yes, they were there.
Okay. And who were chasing? Who were the people chasing the?
They
nobles?
didn't really. They didn't really know, or they didn't really say.
Okay.
Yeah. And there was an amazing sense motive, which. Yes, they're not hiding a single thing. That was from memory.
It was one of us knows it's bullshit, and one of us knows it's the truth, and
Yes.
and you didn't tell us which one knows what.
Yes, it's true.
No.
That's
It's
just.
just a bit.
It was a 1 and 20, a natural 1, natural 20, on sense motive. So yeah, one of you thinks it's absolutely the truth, one of you thinks it's absolutely false, and that's the 2 impressions that you get. But you don't know which one's which. You don't know which one's true.
Okay.
So that's up to you. And I'm liking doing that now. So I'm going to be doing that for other games and this one. So what would you like to do apart from seeing the head honcho? Is there anything else? And mapping?
I just wanted to look around wherever I can walk around and just see things. Like how is everyone just like I know they're like their continents, like how like they present themselves as like military stuff. But I want to see if I'm pretty sure that we as characters don't know that it's a cult. So I just want to see what is going on. Why is everyone
So you know from your discipline, from your clergy background, that some clergy are militant, some also militias and knights' orders and things like that are also religious, and this is maybe in there, and that's like. So I'm not going to say yes or no, but it's certainly it could be a knight's order, which is what they, or a hunting lodge, which is also an impression which you've also mentioned, with things like that, but less hunting lodge because it's a bit more militant, and the training about the steam and being one with the steam certainly doesn't sound like a jovial hunting lodge for rich nobles from Waterdeep, which is what everyone believes them to be, or at least initially believes them to be. But that's the impression you get. Anything else, like any other investigations?
Yeah. Could I go to some of the knights and ask them to have a bit of a training session with me?
Generally speaking, they decline because they are busy, and they won't give you any other reasoning than that.
I will say if I while I'm up on the spire, if I see someone like going out for a flight, I might just try and catch their attention and ask if I can just sort of tag along.
Yeah. When you're up at the spire, it's quite windy up there. You can see a huge amount. I mean, an absolute huge amount of area. Are you willing to go? And I'll switch across to the other screen, and I'll move everyone up there so everyone can see and everyone can see the choice. It's just so many layers here. I can't just copy and paste and cut you. So many layers. So we're back at the top again. There we go. So are you going to go out to one of the pinnacles? Because these actually go right out, and there's a looking glass out, a spy glass on each one.
No, what I'm going to do, if I see like a griffin rider just coming to like take off or something,
Yep.
I might just say it's like if it's not too much trouble, can I just sort of hop on the back? I'm very light. You won't even know I'm here. I'm there just for 5 minutes.
Yeah. You do on occasion have see the vulture and the knight ride off and scout and essentially do a scouting. About once an hour, one will go out and then come back after about an hour or two of flying. But they decline each time. Thurul is not always up at the top of the spire, so he's not always.
After I was declined once, I'd probably just leave it at that.
Yeah.
I don't think I'd keep asking, but you know.
Yeah. So.
It's worth a shot.
And so you find Thurul in his quarters, and I'll move you both there. And what would you like to actually speak to Thurul about?
All right, so I've been practicing this in my head because so is a smooth criminal, but I am not. I'm going to approach slowly at Thrall. Do you have a second where I can speak to you?
He's at his desk and says, I'll entertain. What would you like to ask?
Oh, I just wanted to talk. I'm a little embarrassed and sorry about the lie we came in here with. It's really, I was wanting to protect my friend, and I myself was a little scared to be in here, namely for the fact that back home when Waterdeep wore such legends, I didn't.
I will point out there is Ward and Meredith in the other side of the room.
I'm gonna hope Ward doesn't call me out.
Yeah. Just pointing that out. The room's only divided by a curtain.
My name is Arona Fairwind, and I am a noble from Waterdeep. I also work for the Silver Daggers because I wanted a life outside of Waterdeep. I gotta say, what you're doing over here is admirable and downright. It warms my heart to see. I had a relative who was a part of the Knights back home.
Do you say the Knights or the militia guard, the aerial?
The aerial people. Yeah. I can't remember the name, but
yeah.
Yeah.
I should know it. I've been reading up Dragon Heist, but I can't remember it right offhand. I think they're the Griffin Rider, the Griffin Watch. He's impressed that that you actually have a relative in there. He does ask what the person's name is and ask further details and if you can provide it, he may or may not know them.
You may not know him. He wasn't very. It was my brother, and he didn't last long. Like you said, it was very crooked there and kind of dirty. And unfortunately, because of somebody else's actions and him trying to be a good person, he was killed.
Yes, that certainly sounds like Waterdeep.
Yes, and hearing you want to escape the what is it called? The corruption, having you want to escape the corruption, and hearing your speech, it almost made me want to cry because it was something my brother would have very much wanted to be a part of.
Well, it's too late for him, but the Feathergale Society is here to try to bring back some law and order to the evils of Waterdeep and the surrounding areas as well, while we can.
That's such a noble pursuit. I was wondering, my brother, I got to know his steed very closely when he was around, and the steed was unfortunately taken back to the Gales, and after his death, and I never really got to see one like that. Could you take me down to the, if it's not too much trouble, that is, could you take me down so I could meet one? It's been so long, and just being able to pet one again would make me feel close to my brother. Being here makes me feel close to him again. It's all just wonderful.
As the GM, I'm seeing where this is going. I will point out that the Feathergales are only here. The Feathergale Society is here. they're not affiliated with the City Watch, and the City Watch is a different, separate entity, as in the aerial mounts of the City Watch is a separate entity to the Feather Gale.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I'm just saying that they were once there, and then she just believes in this. She's chalking it up to believing in this group.
So he takes you down to the mounts. He's you've butted him up sufficiently. I will ask for a deception or persuasion.
I think I'm better at deception. For some crazy reason, I'm really good at deception.
Well,
We're all good.
it's a case of, are you telling the truth or are you telling a lie?
It's. What if it was a little bit of both?
Yeah.
I'll do.
That's why I'm saying either one.
You said deception or persuasion?
Yeah.
Or what'd you say?
Yeah, well, you're buttering up, and you also, yeah.
I'll do persuasion.
Yeah.
I'm gonna. Oh, yes! Is he buttered up?
You have buttered him up, but you have. Just looking through a few things here. I'm looking at his character sheet himself, because he's got some stuff.
Oh no.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Please don't see. Oh shit.
So he takes you down and he asks you about your family, and asks you about your brother and further more things and whatnot. And he'll take you down to the stalls, and to the stables. And where would you like to go in this day? I'll move you again. Again, all these layers. It's just the map. It's so big. It's so long, and I'm not going to zoom all the way out of the map because then you can't see anything. There you go. There you go. Sorry for those that are seeing just blackness because you're not here. After that ping. So you're down in the stalls, in the stables. And he asks, was it a hippogriff or a vulture that you'd like to...
Do I know which one? Do I know which one is more commonly used in Waterdeep?
Waterdeep uses griffins.
Griffins.
Yeah.
And would he ask me if I wanted to see a hippogriff or a vulture?
Yeah.
Ooh, which one would be better? The hippogriffs are closer to what he had.
Yeah. So he'll take you to one of the hippogriff mounts, and he'll calm the mount sufficiently enough to allow you to approach and explain to it kind of that you're not here to harm it. And it takes him hopefully it takes him a bit. The hippogriff is actually quite ferocious and snarling. You are a demon. Yeah. So tiefling's demonic looking, but he does calm it down sufficiently to allow you to approach.
It's a boy, right?
It's a boy.
Well, I'm going to approach it slowly with a hand outstretched and gently pat its side. It's like, oh, aren't you a beautiful thing? You must take great care of these wonderful creatures.
We do what we can. They are very much respected. They are a part of who we are.
It's funny. Give me like 2 seconds to remember what name I gave him. Did I give him a name? Did I give him a name? I don't think I did.
Where's Francis?
Judas used to say the same thing. It's funny.
Judas.
Listen, dude wasn't used back then, so I can use Judas as a name. Judas say the same thing about his own bird.
Well, an area rider is not as good as, well, it's a partnership, the rider and the mount. There needs to be a trust together. There needs to be a bond that's shared. While learning, while training, you develop that trust. Sure, we could train a new rider on a mount, but that distrust is still going to be there for quite some time, and there's a lot to adjust to for such a majestic creature. But once that trust is made, that bond, it's there for a long time, and it's very important. You don't want to be thrown off a mount when you're 1,000 feet up.
Of course. Honestly, I've seen people ride with their mounts before, and it just not match because it was obvious the animal didn't trust them. But here, I can tell they're the way they act is how Saurus used to act. That was my brother's mount, Saurus. Making up names on the spot. It's so fun to do this.
And it's not the GM
myself.
doing it.
Saurus.
Saurus. Like Dudosaurus! Saurus. Yeah, Saurus used to had complete trust in Dudas to the point where I was a little rebellious one night and had snuck out and tried to take Saurus for a joyride. Dudas was mad, but Saurus took care of me in the air, and we eventually came to a land. It's kind of funny. I always wanted to be a part of those things.
Feathergale Knights.
Not the Feathergale Knights. The other faction in Waterdeep.
Griffin Riders.
The Griffin. I always wanted to be a part of the Griffin Riders, like my. Huh?
Griffin Watch. We'll just say for now.
I always wanted to be a part of the Griffin Watch, but after my brother's death, I lost faith in the system a little bit.
Yeah. Sorry, I muted one and didn't mute the others. Sorry, guys, for coffee on screen. He does say that his time in the Griffin Watch was had its ups and downs, and I feel sad that I had to leave my mount there and couldn't bring it with me when creating this. I wanted to create something new, wanted something that was lasting and something that would make a difference, not just to Waterdeep, but those surrounding areas which get no protection.
Of course, you were, like I said before, you were doing such a heroic action, and how you're doing this and how you treat the animals. I'm sorry you had to leave your mount behind. I'm sure your bond was strong with it. I'm gonna apply just like gentle kiss to the hippogriff's neck, playing it up, giving it a few more gentle pats.
Can I get an animal handling, please?
You can. I can't guarantee it's gonna be like perfect.
Well, you saw what happened with the with Tyrell, and he's the commander here.
Please be good. Please be good. Please be good. Please be good. Please be good.
It squeaks as you get that close, and it pulls back.
Oh, yeah. It's okay. I get it's the tiefling thing. It happens a lot, but it is an adorable, an absolutely majestic beast.
He thinks. He says that I think it may be time to leave the animals to their handlers, because if one gets riled up, the others get riled up, and then it takes us a long time to settle them.
Of course, I completely understand. Thank you so much for this opportunity, and I'm going to give him a hug.
Mm-hmm. So, roll your pickpocketing.
No, I'm not going to risk it. I'm not going to risk it. I'm going to pickpocket once in this campaign, I swear to God.
I'm so proud of you.
I'm not going to risk it. I want a hippogriff, and goddamn it, I'm going to sell the worst. I'm going to sell the best sob story I can to get one.
Somewhere, Ward is crying. So disappointed in you, so just disappointed.
I'll loot the place after I get a hippogriff.
Okay, so I'll move you back to the tower, to the peak. Is there anything else you'd like to do? Is there anything else anyone else would like to do? You essentially have a... This takes so long to move.
Was there a lot of guards around the armory?
A lot
Or
of
is there just
guards around.
guards?
You don't even know where the armor is. It's not being pointed out.
Can I just kind of amble
Yeah.
around, not really looking for it? But
Well,
yeah.
you can do your secret roll, because you have experience
okay.
with military facilities and yeah, you kind of you kind of guess where it is. It's actually
Okay.
onto the Pingyong map down here,
Earth watches.
which
Okay.
is that's where you're
Watching
staying
you.
right next to it. So
Okay.
it's off the main entrance of the actual building.
Okay. So let's say I'm just walking around. I'm angling
Yeah.
towards that way, but not looking as if I'm going to it directly.
If you go near there, there's 3 guards outside that door, which is also at the main entrance door.
Ah,
So that's where you came in.
okay. Is this the way to the kitchen? Ask the guards.
The guard says, no, kitchen just inside and to the left. So kitchen's actually here.
How on earth do you stay in time in this place? I get so mixed up. Everything is in circular. I swear.
It is a tower, ma'am. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
I did say ma'am. Sorry, that was me. That was the GM.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I do know dwarves look like, but I'm very much a sir. But flattered nonetheless. Thank you.
so that
Can I
was
just sort of amble towards the kitchen? 3 guards. Ugh.
Yep. 3 guards, and that's just outside.
They're hiding something. The cult is hiding
Mhm.
Well, we can find out next week when Ninjavo comes back, or actually 2 weeks, because he actually did spend time in the captain's area alone.
You won't be back next week.
No, he won't. So he won't be back next week. He's got something on, but the week after, hopefully.
Okay.
Which may be the week I'm not available. But anyway, we'll deal with that later.
Can he read?
We'll deal with that later. So is there anything else you'd like to do before night falls and dinner time?
Not that I can think. No.
Yeah. So you've kind of scoped out the place.
Yeah.
I will give you... This is mainly for Kip, but everyone will see. And I know mine has a lot of things in the background, just ignore those. But that is what you can see from the spire. Oh, you're not on that map, are you? So that helps. If I actually put you on the map.
Well, this little tiny spire.
Oh, so you can see without being on the map?
Yeah.
Okay,
I
it's
can
not...
just-
Okay, so it's not dynamic lighting. Good. See, the Feathergale Spire's all at the top here, at the top of the map. And it's a once again, very long map downwards. And you can see they're in a canyon valley where there's a river that flows down the valley. And that's where you are.
The long drop.
So, and again, once again, you can actually see the red lark off in the distance. But on the other side, it's mostly mountain range that you can see from here. And that's without using the spyglasses.
Before we start dinner,
Yep.
do you think I could ask one of the on-duty initiates to help me to the spyglass so I could see your one?
That'll be a persuasion with disadvantage.
Disadvantage.
Yep.
Ding dang diggity dang dang.
Oh, you can do it.
Let's do persuasion.
One of the knights will actually hold your hand and lead you out to one of the spyglasses. Which one would you like? You get to choose one.
Oh, I'm gonna turn to which one do you think has the best view?
Not the one looking at the mountains, that's for sure.
Well, this will be just on So north, south, east, or west.
Oh shoot! I don't know my cardinal directions.
It's on the map right here. If you can't see that.
Where? Can I get a little ping, please?
Right here. Use your directions.
Okay. Listen, I wasn't born a smart person, and I can admit that. Okay, I want to look towards the mountains.
So which one is that? North, south? Well, east and south. It's mostly east. East towards the mountain range, or north.
Which way is Red Larch again?
Red Lark would be the western side.
I want to look west.
Towards West Lark.
West Lark, yes.
Oh, sorry, Red Lark. So not towards the mountains.
Yeah, opposite of the mountains.
Opposite of the mountains. Okay. So as you look into the spyglass, your vision is zoomed in to it looks like a forest area, and as you slowly, it takes just the tiniest little bit of movement, and like your vision just changes so quickly because it's zoomed in so much, and it takes a little bit to get used to, but you can see with a little bit of patience, a little bit of control, you can see Red Lark. Not really close. You can't see people walking around, that type of thing, but you can see most of the village, and especially the outline, and you can see the surrounding areas and things like that. But
Neato.
Yeah. Is anyone else willing to try to get out there?
Just make a shit.
I probably couldn't even reach the spyglass if I wanted to crawl out there.
I'll try.
And try. Are you going to ask or to a hand to go out there, or try to go out there yourself?
I'll go out there myself.
And which direction would you like to try?
The opposite of beach.
So that would be east.
Thank you.
Okay. So as you look into the spyglass, initially, where Peach saw looks like a forest or an outcrop of trees initially, when you look initially into the spyglass up to the east, it's actually not looking into the mountains, but a specific part of the mountains as a gully, a crevice in the canyon itself. So instead of being here, you're actually looking into this canyon here. That's where that spyglass is aimed at.
Sorry, Mr. Which cannon where? There.
Yeah, there.
Okay.
But
Can I zoom in
as
or
soon as you touch it, it moves, because it's once again that zoom. It's very hard to control.
Okay. Those bodies that we found, where were they?
They would have been southwestish.
Ah,
Yeah.
okay. Okay, no problem. Can I try and look further into the gully?
Can I get... What do you think? Athletics, or is there a dexterous style, fine control dexterous? What would there be? More of a sleight of hand for...
Acrobatics.
I would say
Well,
athletics.
acrobatics, it would be more jumping and physical. I would think more sleight of hand would be...
Oh, I think if you were like sort of holding your feet to the ground, that'd be maybe athletics to just like
Yeah.
strength against the wind.
Yeah, but it's you got to be really you got to be very, very careful, because we're looking at something that's zoomed in, and it's hard to control something zoomed in. Rather than your stableness, it's actually the control you've got of something very, very fine.
That I thought. Okay.
Yeah, so I think the sleight of hand.
Okay, I thought you meant to stay at like.
Okay.
Keep
Yeah.
balanced.
Oh no, it's not you. It's controlling something really, really delicate and
Yeah.
fine
Yeah, that would.
that's zoomed in. Yeah.
Mm.
So yep, I know it's probably not going to be your best.
Nope.
Yep. It's a 0+. As you're trying to move and you lose where you can't get back to where you need to be.
Okay.
And you know that you're leaving it in a very different place than when you actually initially got to it.
Oops. So I just kind of climb down.
It is quite... I will say it is very, very windy. When you get out to those edges, you didn't actually feel like... You thought it was windy on the spire itself, but when you got to the edges, there's nothing but wind. There's nothing around you but air.
I enjoy that.
It's part of possibly being a storm sorcerer.
That makes sense.
But it is a long way down to. Sorry, what was that, Peach?
I was gonna say, I was just seeing if my charisma's high enough to seduce the dude.
Seduce the dude.
Seduce the dude.
Oh boy.
Oh boy.
It's not D&D without one seduction roll. We all know this.
I thought that was being a face in Shadowrun. It's totally Shadowrun.
Listen, if you have a charisma stat, you're gonna use it, and it's gonna be to seduce people.
Even if they're inanimate objects like a golem. So, is there anything else you'd like to do while you've got free reign? Well, some limited reign, I should say, and it's just relaxing in the day.
I mean, I recognize that like the nobles of the posh Watered Avens are sort of a bit giving me funny looks. So I'm probably just gonna, after going up and having a look around and doing the map stuff, I'm just gonna go back to the room.
Yep.
Just chill out there.
Yep, no problem. What I'm going to do is, and just please remember this. If you're ever going to be doing, I'll note it somewhere on your sheet maybe. If you're going to be doing a search, or not a search, but a survival check for trying to make your way through this area, as in the mountains, you'll have advantage because you have it mapped, even if you don't actually really have. Yeah.
That's why I got it.
Yeah. So, and you went to the perfect place to get the perfect vantage place, but only in this mountain area. Yeah. So the day goes on. You hear, like, you know that there's the flights go out every now and then. It's about every 2 hours that they'll go out, and then they'll come back. The initiates do their thing. The knights do their thing. It's getting more and more obvious that they're quite military. Still unsure about the whole cult side of things. And darkness goes. Before the dinner though, the Windward comes through and goes, have you got any finery for the banquet tonight?
Finery, how so?
It is the 10-year celebration, so it is.
Oh.
I do.
You mean fine clothes?
Fine clothes.
No.
You see what I'm wearing?
They don't make things that fit me.
And in tow, she's got Ward, and he's wearing a cloak that's covering all his scars, and he doesn't have his Enkeg chitinous armor around him. He's still underneath the cloak is Fido, sitting on his head, but he's got a nice cloak, and it only goes pretty much to his hips. And it looks like one of those cloaks which would have been one of those really long regal cloaks that would scrape along the ground for most people, but being 8 foot, it doesn't really go like that. And he's looking very chuffed. But has anyone got anything fine to wear apart from so?
I do.
I don't know.
I believe my robes are good enough. He represents.
He keeps them very clean.
Yes.
They're very clean. Don't you see? There's no lint anywhere.
He invented soap just for his robes, guys. Come on, he invented detergent.
As you look there's a couple pieces of hay that are like on your robes, which you just scut off, but
the only problem I have with my fine clothes is there might be an insignia on it that I'll need to get off. Just sort of pop that little sucker right off.
Well, she says she offers the use of her room for you to change, saying this was for the initiates and it's not befitting a lady to change in front of other male company.
It's not. These guys are literally.
If you have anything for like a halfling or a gnome, I suppose I could try and maybe adjust that. I'm not very good with cloth, but maybe just cut a hole for my tail, and it should maybe.
I'll see if I can find something. I'll ask around.
I really don't have anything.
The initiates and the knights don't generally have anything extra. They leave a simple life. I may have something in my belongings.
Even just a cloak to sort of cover my armor. Yeah. Be fine.
Yeah, I may have something in my belongings though. I've given the luxury of having belongings, as opposed to others here. And she heads off with sew in hand, and takes you up to her.
Okay, wait. Before she goes, can I ask, would a uniform suffice?
A uniform would be very fitting in this company.
Okay. Thank you.
Wow, everything gets revealed. This.
It's just this thing that I kind of picked up. It looks pretty and shiny.
Just a thing.
I stole mine.
Yeah, exactly.
Naturally. Yeah. So what we're going to do, we're going to have a break. We will come straight back with the feast and the gala. Kip will have some clothing. She will find some clothing, and she'll do a quick adaptation for Kip's size. Whether you really like it or not, that's on Kip, really.
We'll see.
Yeah.
Please, did it be pink?
Hey, pink matches red. That's not a problem.
What's a flashing color?
Yeah.
Green, I suppose.
That's Christmas, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Christmas.
Which clashes in a feisty.
Cyan, which is like the inverse.
That's bad. But anyway, we're gonna take a quick break. I know we had a little bit one earlier, but hey, we've now got most people here, and enjoy the music once again. If I could actually type tavern correctly. This one's going to be Gnomeland Security of the Happy Gnome Time.
Security.
Gnomeland Security.
That's amazing.
I do love the name, and we played it the other day for the barbarians. But once again, this is from Syrinscape, so once again, great sound, great amazing stuff. And we're going to be back in about 5 or so minutes, so stick around. Thanks for watching.
We'll pull him all the way back to the ground. We're close enough. Try the claws. We'll pull him all the way down to the ground. Close enough.
And we're back. We got a bit sidetracked listening to that music and listening to the trying to figure out what they're saying in that. But we're back. Back from our break. We're going to be continuing for a little bit now. Thanks for joining us, Nez. Good to see you in here again. Although I do understand when you leave because you are at work at the moment on your break. But it's always good to see you in here. So we're here for the party. Kip, well, as so is being changed, I'm just going to once again drag everybody down. I'm not going to move all the Featherdale Knights and everybody into the room because there's so many around and whatnot. But as so is being changed in the privacy of the Bard's room, you do notice that she shares it with the commander, as you were there earlier, and you're adapting some things off your garment. She actually gives you some little sewing scissors to mend if you need it. But you also notice that she's taking out some things from her chest. And one of the things she takes out is a large plush animal. Oh, not an animal, but like a big teddy bear. And it's wearing a nice spiffy jacket. And she thinks that might, like, she asks you if that's about the right size. Do you think that will work? And
Ask me.
No, asking so.
Oh, so.
Okay, first of all, that is really, 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 really cute. I had one just like that when I was little. And secondly, I think that would fit Kip perfectly, and that he'd love to wear it.
Yeah. Just should I tell him where it's from?
Yeah, you know what? I think, you should tell him during dinner. It'd come up as like a comical little story. He loves comical little stories. So, during dinner, just casually, if you want to bring out like, oh, hey, did you know what you're wearing is off a teddy bear? He'd get a real kick out of that.
Yeah. Well, it was my brother's, but he gave it to him for good luck when I travel, so I keep it with him. I keep it with myself. But it's a nice, it's a doublet jacket. It's got embroidery around it. It's blue. It's really, really finely made, and it's got pants that go with it. It's it is really, really finely made with the embroidery as well, and with gold laced embroidery around the edges. It's quality, very, very high quality, and elven make. So as you're going down, she sends one of the initiates down to take it to Kip. And Kip, you're presented with a really fine doublet with pants. It's, as I said, dark blue with gold embroidery and edging. It's elven. You can tell that immediately by the style and by the make.
This is amazing. Wow, look at
That's
this is
truly
like
wonderful quality.
noble stuff. Oh my god. Oh my. Oh, I can't wait to see the look on those tops' faces when they see a kobold in. I'm like, oh my god, I love it. I love it. This is amazing. Yes, I will. I immediately sort of like trade it for my armor and sort of put it on, sort of. And then I realized, oh shit. And I sort of grabbed the pants and I sort of cut a little hole for the tail. I'm very careful not to rip it on my horns as well as I put it on.
Well, it's more of a jacket. It's like it buttons up at the front. Even the buttons are nicely
Can it
done.
fit over the leather armor?
No, it will not. No.
Okay, never mind.
No. This is dress clothes. You don't wear armor on top of or underneath dress clothes.
Yeah, fair enough.
Even military
Dress clothes is armor.
even military dress clothes are not armor, and you don't wear them. Yes. But that said, the night arrives. You're all dressed in your finery or your clerical robes, and the gala starts. Hopefully, it's the right.
I do want to say So has a Cinderella moment where it's just sort of her. She skips and jumps and rolls around a lot, so her normal clothes are sort of kind of dirty, but her finery is very fine, and she even did a little bit of makeup with her disguise kit. Even did stuff with her hair. She wants to look for seduction.
Just want to mention Robold is slightly nervous in his uniform.
Oh.
So, would you like to describe your uniform?
Ha! You know, since the DM has such a better grasp of how the uniform looks. Well, I've removed any telltale insignias. It's dark maroon, I think, with a very shiny. What is the uniform? Does it have a breastplate?
Uniform would not usually, like a dress uniform generally would not have
the
any
dress
armor.
uniform. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
No. So it's just very fine. It's got different layers: dark maroon, black, with a gold chain around the collar. I know. I think that's about it. Yeah, very fine. The leather leggings, nice soft boots.
Insight check. No,
No, you can.
oh, no, it's fine.
But I'll say something it's quite obviously it's fine. It's good, well made, and it's militant. But you don't know, even without insight, you don't know where it's from. But it's some militia.
I'm gonna walk close to Robold just because I get the same. We're feeling the same vibe here.
I feel my arm. Like a true noble strain.
I'm gonna
just don't touch the bear.
I'm gonna take the arm. Your uniform looks nice.
You look very fetching.
Thank you. I stole these.
Same here.
So would you like to describe your stolen outfit?
It's very. I'm trying to find a good. It's what a noble would wear to a party like this. It's like a gala dress. It looks like it was, even though stole it. It was definitely made to her proportions, and even a little sloop for her tail. Well, not really that, but sort of something to hide her tail. It's got a few. I'm gonna draw it, and it'll be released on Twitter. But anyway, because I'm terrible at describing clothes. In hindsight, there is a little. It is fine clothing, and it looks really nice. But there's a little stitch at the top near the shoulder, where it looks like something was recently taken off.
Yes. And do you want to do a deception roll, like a sleight of hand for your quick embroidery removal?
Yeah, I will do that.
Just to see if you now have a single strap dress and you've accidentally cut it off the understrap. And
All right, you said deception?
no, it'll be like a sleight of hand because it's fine motor. Yep.
Oh, I'm still on the thing.
That's okay. So I'll take the first one, which is a 15. No problem. So you've cut it around. There's not really obvious. If you really, really closely look, you can see just a couple of threads which you haven't pulled out and haven't cleaned up possibly, but it's quite neat. And the gala starts with some music provided by Meredith, and I've got the music on the background a little bit. It's not as loud as I would like, but that's a bit better. It's a bit different. And all the knights are there. They're all dressed in dress uniform. Their uniform consists of a light blue outfit with feathers coming off it and interwoven. Tyrell Moroso actually is the only person in with a breastplate, but his breastplate itself is very decorative. You don't even know if it would be functional at all, but because it's so decorative, it's got embossing and it's got feather inlays on it. This is not what he was wearing when he was on top of the tower. It is certainly something new that you haven't seen. His cloak, again, it has feathers draped from it in long finery, and he certainly looks the part of a noble and a good host. And even though the Feathergale Knights themselves are noble, they're not dressed like that, but their outfits and their uniforms are certainly well made. Meredith is dressed as the typical elf. She's an absolute showstopper. Her outfit is the epitome, is just better than everybody else's. It is just beautiful. It would be what a very high-end noble would wear in society in a ball. It is just absolutely amazing, and she doesn't flirt or anything like that. She's just keeping calm, and she's just entertaining as the evening goes on. And as you enter, Tyrell stands, and all the other knights stand for the guests. You see the initiates off in the corners. They've got makeshift tables made up, and they're more in lowly clergy style dress, where it's a layman dress, which is nothing fancy, but they're all uniform in they're not dressed up. So it's kind of strange that they're very much in where so many people are dressed up in this. They're not. and they're off to the side. Essentially, the kids' table. They're off to the side, near the on the other sides of the hearths. So I'll make sure you're on the same map because I keep on forgetting to move this. No, we're on the right map. Good. So they'd be up actually here and down here, like well off from the main table seating area. But the rule stands, and all the knights stand as you enter. It says, "Welcome to the Feathergale Retreat. The Feathergale Society tonight celebrates its 10-year anniversary. It has been 10 years since the founding of this gentleman's club," and a few of the knights chuckle and laugh at that. "And tonight we have an even more special occasion. We have guests, and one of those is a noble, and a noble from," and he looks at. Yes.
Yeah. I'm gonna smile, do a little wave. I'm a noble from. I'm a Waterdeepian native.
And there's a big cheer that goes up about that.
Do a very ladylike laugh.
Can I roll like an insight on the general vibe of the room? Because
Yep.
I don't know, just like the
Oh, is that me going?
And so I'm a little, this is a bit odd.
Yep.
Can I just look around the room and just see?
Fact. No, I'm gonna use my inspiration to get advantage on this. A good thing I did as well, because that was a natural one. 16.
16. So an inspiration. So you're looking at the vibe of the room, or?
Yeah, just trying to I'm trying to look like, because this seems unusual to me. This seems unusual that we would be, if it's their 10th anniversary, then why are we held in such high esteem if we just walked in yesterday? So I'm kind of trying to gain mainly the commander,
yep.
Like the knights, less so the initiates.
Yep.
Like trying to get a read on them.
Okay.
Is there something odd?
So, you think it may be